Let's take a look at methods using Java. I happen to be using NetBeans, but the same will be true of Eclipse. Those are the two that I use the most. I just happen to use NetBeans this time. So I'm going to create a new project, a Java application, and I'll give it a project name. Create a main class. Okay, that looks okay. In Eclipse or NetBeans, you can go into set up your IDE to come up however you want it to look. I'm going to leave mine the default way. I'm guessing that yours may look similar to this. So I'm going to change the comments for put my name in there. I'm going to put in class and the assignment. Okay. I don't need these. I like to bring my curly braces down. I think it's easier to see the code blocks and where they're at if you do that. And for now, I've got a package, and inside my package I just happen to have one class, and inside of that one class, here's my one class between here and here, and inside of that one class I have my one method, and that's my main method. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and run this and see if everything's working okay. Should do it this way. Right click and run file. And it looks like everything's working okay. Okay. I'll expand that so I can see the entire file. Now, let's start looking at methods. Well, first, where do I put the method? Well, inside my class, here's my class, and the beginning and end of my class. Inside of my class, I have one method. I need to put my next method outside of this main method. So I'm going to click here, move down one, spacing, white space, I'll put a little more in, and I need to give it a name. Display this method. I'm going to put in my beginning and ending code block or curly braces, and now I've got a method where I can now static void main. The static, you notice I've got static as a keyword here for my new method that I created, and I've got static on my main method. We're going to go into that in a bit. And then I've got void, and void for now with the void keyword means that I'm not going to return any value, and we'll see what that means later. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. So, S out, tab, and I'm going to put in hello from display this method. Okay. And that's all I've got. So now if I run this, is this line going to display? Let me go ahead and run this and let's see. And when I run this, the only thing that displays is the hello world from this method. When I create this second method, this method has no idea that there's another method out there. It has no idea that we've created other method or methods that it can communicate with. So I need to say that there's a method out there called display this. Okay, semicolon. And not only that it's there, but go ahead and execute that method. So now let me try. So now it runs and it displays my first method, and then it says go display the next method and execute the code, and the code was hello from display this method. Okay, let's make some changes. So added a string variable, and inside of the double quotes I put in my name, integer data type, called it int num1, and assign a number to this. Now let's change our display method. I'm going to display it so that it will accept, let's see, a string, and let's call it str1, and it's going to accept an integer. Let's call it t num1. Okay. Now back up here, we need to match these parameters. So we need to be able to pass a string and an integer. So let's do it in that order. So name and int number1. Okay. So the compiler's happy so far. Now let's go down here and actually use these. Let's change our output to say let's say name equals, I'm going to use the concatenation operator here, and I'm going to put name in there first, concatenate that with another string, and let's say age equals, and that string, concatenation, and the, what do we call it? Whoops, it's not name, it's str1. Or no, let's go back. Let's leave it at name for now. And then this I called int num, and that. Now it's not going to return any value, but let's see if it will return those. Now I'm getting a red squiggly line, which means that it doesn't like that. Let's see if we can get a a good error message. It says cannot find the symbol variable name. Okay, so this it doesn't recognize, and in other words it cannot see uh, a variable that's been called name because it cannot see outside of this method. And this method, the variable name is local to this. The scope of this is within this method, so it cannot be seen anywhere else. So what I need to do is use the method name or the string name that I created here. So instead of that, I'm going to call it str1, which is what that's called. And let's see, still doesn't like something. What is that? Oh, got too many quotes, double quotes on here. Get rid of that. Okay, so it likes that. Okay, so let's run this and see if it passed those values. And there it executed hello world, and then it executed calling the display name that, and it jumped down here to display this. It passed these values, and so these values are displayed in this line right here. Okay, so passing values. Okay, next change. Change this from void to, let's return a value now. Let's return an integer value. Okay, but if I do that, I need to actually put a return statement in here. And let's return int num, int num1 multiplied by 2. Okay. And let's create another integer value. I'll add it on to the end of this one. I'll call it return value. Okay. Let's go down here and do return value equal I'm going to move this okay. And once I do that, let's see if I can see what the new value is. S out, tab tab, and new int value equals, oops, and let's concatenate that with return value. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and see, is it going to compile? Yeah. Okay, run this, and whoops. Okay. So if we step through this, declared some variables, we called that method, and not only did we call it, but we're going to return an integer value. Return the integer value, and we returned what was passed to it, which is 42 times 2, so that when we do the system out, we see the new value here, which is 84. Okay, so that's an example of methods. We'll stop